Hello YouTube, this is the Traveling NP coming to you from northern North Dakota. My name is Mark Hill and I am a traveling nurse practitioner. Work for different locums companies. The subject that I want to broach today is, and when I hear a lot of chatter on Facebook and different things, is there plenty of work? And let me just tell you, I've been in the business now for about 6 months, and there is plenty of work. There are literally hundreds of staffing agencies and thousands of assignments. I'll give you one example. I work for a little regional, one company that I work for is a little regional staffing company. And they primarily staff in the state of North Dakota, but they also staff South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Wyoming, and they're branching over into Washington State. But primarily they're in North Dakota. And I know for a fact that they have, because I've been told this, that they have almost 200 providers on their rolls. And pretty much what they do, and they're just a very small time staffing agency. Of course, they've been doing it a long time, and they're actually pretty good at what they do. They staff these rural clinics and ERs all over North Dakota and South Dakota, Minnesota, and they have a jobs board that you can go into and you get on staff with them and you can look at all the jobs that are available. And these are jobs left over that aren't picked up by their full-time providers. Now, they have some full-time providers that work for them full-time through the month, 100 to 200 hours a month. And there'll be no less than a dozen jobs for each month that are left open that oftentimes don't ever get filled because they don't have enough providers. I get no less than 2 to 3 contacts a day, either by email or I get phone contacts from recruiters who have jobs available that they want me to go to ASAP, offering big money, all these things. I'm on the rolls with 4 different staffing agencies, and I primarily work with 2 of them, but I'm fixing to take an assignment with a third one. That's going to be a 13-week assignment. And these agencies could keep me working. Well, they keep me working more than I want to work. I can tell you that they, a lot of times, present so much work, and I'm one of these kind of people that has a hard time turning down work, that I can't do it all. I get overwhelmed. And you can stretch yourself really thin if you let that happen. I know that in the kind of work that I do in ER work, there aren't a lot of long-term contracts that are available. Most of them are short-term gigs, especially in the rural settings with your critical access hospitals. They want you for stretches of time because there's a lot of 24-hour shifts involved. And in some of your bigger ERs, there's a lot of 12 and 16-hour shifts involved. And they want you for stretches of time, like, 5 to 7 days. Sometimes they're 2 or 3 days. I just got a list of time available here in North Dakota for no less than 8 separate blocks of time, the longest being about 7 days and the shortest being 2 days. The 7-day gig, I think, was 120 hours, and the 2-day gig was, of course, 48. And I could pick up all those if I wanted them. I've decided to go a different route and do a long-term 13-week contract with an urgent care, just simply because I haven't done that yet, and I kind of wanted to do it. But eventually, I'll come back to the block time where I do 7 or 10 days a month, and then just kind of take the rest of the month off. But I do want to experience different things and go different places. But the work is there. There is tons of work. There's work in just about every state. Most states are fairly easy to get licensed in. I am licensed in Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Washington. I'm working on a New Mexico license. Iowa, I have an Iowa license. My Maine license is in the works. I am getting my paperwork together for my Alaska license. So yeah, I'm accumulating license, and primarily I'm going with compact states. It's easier to get your license in your compact states. And I'm also going in states where there's nurse practitioner autonomy. It's just a lot easier to work in those states and a lot less hassle. I did finally stop trying to get the Pennsylvania license. I had a job offer over there, and getting the Pennsylvania license is the god-awfulest thing I've ever seen in my life. If you can get a Pennsylvania license, more power to you, but you have to jump through so many hoops. Washington was a little weird too, because you had to do some CME stuff before you could get your license, but it wasn't nearly as hard as Pennsylvania. So, to wrap it all up, the jobs are there. Don't go into this wondering if you're not going to have employment. You'll have employment. Now, especially as a new travel nurse, you probably won't be able to pick and choose like you want to right off the bat, but the jobs are there. You may have to take an assignment or two that are not necessarily your top picks, but go ahead and do those. Look, it's good experience anyway. Do a couple month gig, at a place that you wouldn't necessarily want to go, because it's all good experience. Go and experience what you can, and as you build your reputation in the locums community, you'll be able to command better jobs. You'll be able to command higher pay. You'll be able to command better stipend reimbursements. And you'll learn when to say no, when to say, hey, I don't want to do that job. Or, like me, I just won't accept jobs for less than a certain amount of money. And so my recruiters know, they'll get to the point where they know not to even offer it to me. If it's not paying a certain amount, I'm not so concerned with the location. That's kind of a secondary thing to me. I do want to go certain places, but I also want to make good money. So I want to hear what the salary is up front. And if it's not meeting my salary requirements, then it's just kind of a waste of time to present it to me. You're going to have your own reasons for going to where you want to go and doing what you want to do and how much you want to make. And that's fine. Whatever your reason is a good reason. Mine, first and foremost, is I want to make a good living. And number two, I do want to go to some interesting locations. So I'd like to go to 3 or 4 or 5 different places in the United States every year. Next summer, we are making plans to go and do a summer in Alaska. So yeah, it's a combination of good salary and location opportunities. So jobs everywhere, jobs. No end in sight. So don't let that hold you up. If you want to do locum tenens, do it. There's lots of jobs. This is Mark Hill, the Traveling NP, signing out. Till next time, thanks a lot. See you later.